These are the top 5 music production tips that I wish I knew earlier in my music production career. All of these are things that would have saved me tons of time and honestly would have helped me make way better songs way faster if I just knew those basic things, which I am going to share today in this video. Alright, Harry Potter's ready. The first tip I have for you is to leave enough headroom in the composition and mixing stage. I see a lot of my students coming to me to complain how bad their songs sound once they upload it on streaming platforms or how Instagram is destroying their songs. But the reason isn't because of any upload settings, it is because of how you set your volume levels in your DAW. Every time I actually open their project, I end up seeing that their song is peaking well above 0 dB, and this is why their song is sounding bad in the end. What you have to do is to try and aim for -6, -3 dB maximum when mixing it. This way it will still allow you to boost the loudness in the mastering stage without destroying it in the end because it won't distort or saturate. Another tip I wish I knew earlier is that knowing how to set my volume levels was all I needed to achieve a more professional sounding track instantly. Not saturation, not saturation, not parallel compression, or not any other advanced technique that you think will make you sound like Martin Garrix. Just volume levels. Because knowing how to set your volume levels will give your song clarity. In most of the students that I coach, most of their songs sounds very messy because everything is set as the same volume and your ear doesn't know what to focus on. Your ear doesn't know what we are listening to because everything is a mess. You have to tell your listener what is the main element. The guitar, the piano, the bass, the kick, tell them. There is not any general rule as it is in the end a creative decision, but in general, just imagine your song being like a pyramid. You need to have a few elements that are the loudest, then a few supporting elements like chords, pads, supporting drums, stuff like this, and then background elements like FXs and ambiances. Now to do it, here's the exact way that I set my volume levels. I first start by muting everything. Then I unmute what I want to be my main element, the loudest. Usually I start by the kick. I set its volume so it hits -9, -6 dB on the master so I have room for all the other instruments. Then I add the bass, adjust the volume, then let's say the chords, adjust the volume until I'm happy with it, then the other instruments one by one, then the supporting drums, the FXs, and finally the ambiances. I basically start by the loudest instrument and then finish by the most quiet instrument. Now speaking about mixing, I know many of you ask me what are my favorite plugins, what are the plugins or VSTs that I use, so I put together a list of all the resources that I use and recommend myself, so if you are curious, there will be a link in the description for you to check that out. The third tip is one that I got by talking with more experienced music producers that are signed to bigger labels like Revealed and helped me take my build-ups to the next level. You probably saw on tutorials that a good trick in the build-up is to filter in your lead to tease and raise the tension, right? Well, you are actually missing one key element, and this is how they do it. Instead of opening up fully your leads during the build-up, don't. Keep a little bit of surprise for the drop. Only open them to something like 15 kHz so that when the drop hits, the impact will be bigger as this will be something new. Another thing you can do is to try to not use all the layers that you use in your leads during the drop, but just a few of them or half of them. Or you can even just choose a completely different sound design for the build-up in your leads. This way you don't give away your drop already and you keep some surprise for the drop and it will have a way better impact as it'll sound refreshing. Try it on your next song and let me know how it sounds. By the way, if you are getting value out of this video, hit the like button, subscribe for more videos like this one, as my goal here is to help you learn music production the fast and easy way at home. And tell me in the comments below, what is your favorite music production trick? Be someone that also help others and let's make the comment section useful for everyone, but tip number 4 is about reverb. I really wish I knew earlier how important it was to send my reverb into a bus because it would have made my song sounds way cleaner instantly. Sending your reverb into a bus is going to allow you to have more control over it and clean it before it is actually applied on the instrument, which will then help you have a cleaner mix. Just send it into a bus, make it completely wet 100%, and then just adjust the knob of the amount of reverb you want. Also add an EQ right after it so that you clean all the bad frequencies that you don't want, like the low ones or the mid-low frequencies. An additional tip about reverb that I wish I knew earlier is that it is way better to stick to 1 or 2 different reverbs maximum per song. If I choose too many different reverbs with different room sizes or different settings, it's not gonna help my instrument feels like they were recorded together in the same room. So make sure that you don't choose 1,000 different reverbs on your next song. And the fifth tip I knew I wished earlier is that sound selection is far more important than any mixing tip. If you don't start off with the right sound, it's going to make it 10 times harder on you to try and make it sound good. As they say, you cannot put any lipstick on a pig, right? No, but seriously, an example I have for you is with the kicks. I used to be really bad at mixing them, trying to make them sound as powerful as what I would hear in professional sounding tracks. But until I realized that I was just not selecting the right samples right from the bat. Since then, my ear evolved and I got better at selecting the right sound, and now, most of the time, I don't do any mixing to it at all. The most thing I could do is maybe layer to kick together. That's it. Now you might be asking, but PLV, how do I choose the right sound? Where do I find the right samples? Well, I personally use Splice the most and a couple of other professional packs like Ghost Hack, the Ultimate Producer Bundle, or Musicor, Styx, and a few other packs from established artists like Moonboy and Emeche. Which, yes, means that I mostly stay away from free sample packs, and I'm sorry, it's not really on purpose. It's just that as I go through my samples, I always think that the paid packs just sound better, I guess. I guess you get what you paid for. Although Styx is mostly free, so I can definitely recommend this one. And don't worry, all the links to those resources will be in the show notes in the description if you want to grab them for yourself. Now you thought that was it, right? No, I have one more bonus tip for you. It's one that I am guilty of doing myself, and is to try and create a big fat project of more than 90 tracks to prove that I'm a professional music producer, but it doesn't prove anything. I often see people trying to brag and show off that they have this huge project made of a lot of instruments, more than 74 tracks, but in the beginning, and honestly even after, it is far more important to have less instruments that sounds really good together rather than a lot of them that sounds bad. If your piano sounds so beautiful because you mixed it so well and had a great sound from the start, then just keep it simple. Don't try to layer it just because. Focus on making the few instruments you have sounds really good together, as it will help you achieve a way better mix instantly. Now, these are only 5 music production tips for beginners, so if you want to go further and learn 45 more production tips that I have for you, make sure to click on the screen and watch this video next. But in the meantime, keep learning, and I'll see you in the next one.